All right, all right. We're going to try this again. Those of you that may have seen a social media post, if you're watching this on YouTube, you have no clue. So I'm just going to be transparent with you. I just did probably about a 25-minute presentation on what I am about to share with you right now. Okay. And how perfect, because this is a topic that I just experienced after I just spoke about it, and it's about making a mistake. It was I set I set the stage. I set the stage. I had the video. I had my intro, my outro music, my logo. I had everything ready to go. I've got my notes here in front of me, and I was going on, and man, I think it was kind of good. Then afterwards, when I go up to end the recording, end the streaming, I forgot to hit go live. I forgot to hit the recording. So, anyway, a perfect example. So, what did I do? I'm fueling myself with good fuel in my think tank so I can move forward. Not discouraged. I said ugh when I realized it. May not have been exactly the way Charlie Brown said, but I definitely said ugh. Okay. And, but there's like, what do you do? Well, the goal is still the same. The dream was still the same. The aspiration was still the same. I wanted to get a video out and share with you about and ask you, what are you fueling your failure with? What are you fueling it with? And so that didn't change. So here we are again. Take two. Click. I need one of those little things. I need to go to like Party City or something and get one of those little movie click things. That'd be so fun. Anyway, if you're here with me right now, say hi. Leave a comment down below. If you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe. If you haven't already, and if you are, do leave comments. I like to hear from folks and respond, and I will respond to you actually too. And then share this with others. And if you're watching us on social media, on Facebook or LinkedIn, also please do leave your comments and go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I appreciate it. All right, so I'm your friend Coach Jay of the Coach Jay Show, and it's great to be with you once again. I was inspired by a story I saw earlier today. It's about Colonel Sanders. Now, I'm going to share with you three influencers, three people that are great models, great role models of this, of adding the right fuel to their tank to be successful, to proceed to their dream, their aspirations, to see those to reality. I'm going to share three stories. Now, we all have goals, we all have aspirations, we all have things we want to achieve, but sometimes things happen and we stop ourselves before we ever have a chance to actually achieve them. Matter of fact, I'll sometimes say that we disqualify ourselves long before we give somebody else the chance to do it, right? We will disqualify ourselves from success before we allow somebody else to do it. And somehow that makes us a winner. I don't know. But when you have a dream, and it's a big dream, you owe it not just to yourself, but to the many people that dream is going to impact. You owe it to them. To pursue those dreams, to not pursue those dreams, that your dream, your aspiration, your goals, your big hairy idea, to not pursue that is robbing others of the blessings that it could produce for them. Whatever it is. Say, well, now, Jay, I'm just an artist. I like to paint. Okay. Imagine how your art could impact somebody's life because they're going to see it in a certain way that maybe nobody else will. That's kind of the way art works. You know, they put something up there, they express themselves, but other people will interpret it in certain ways. And it's so funny because when I go to like an art gallery, people are trying to interpret what they believe the artist actually was saying. When the truth is, sometimes the artist is frustrated, angry, and yeah, we get that. But then, what does it? How does it speak to us? How does it speak to us? But imagine, so if you are a painter, paint on, man. Get your art out there. Get it out there. Get it on the walls. Get it on social media. Get it on what's that? Pinterest and TikTok and all those other. Get it up and get it out there. If your dream and your goal is to own a multi-million or $1 billion business in technology, and you're still in high school, what are you doing to make that happen? What are you doing? If you're in the military and you're looking to be getting out soon, and you have a big dream, what are you doing now to pursue that dream and make it a reality? Don't disqualify yourself before you give other people the opportunity to disqualify you. And here's the thing, when other people try to disqualify you, and trust me, they will. They will. I've had it. I've had many people try to disqualify me, discount me, discourage me. Okay. Diss. When other people try to diss you, you must diss their approach, their perspective. Now, perspectives are wonderful. Sometimes people can show us things we're not looking at. But if their goal is to stop you from your dream and they have no legitimate reason why, if I wanted to be a pro basketball player, I would probably get stopped by somebody saying you're not tall enough. Now, I'm not a big basketball guy, but I have seen people on the court that are shorter than me. So that throws that one out the window. There's a belief that you've got to be 7 foot tall or 6'5" or even taller. I've seen shorter people play basketball. So don't allow somebody else's perception, their perspective, to stop you from pursuing your dreams. Okay. So I want to share with you 3 examples. And I'm going to use the car analogy also throughout this, the metaphors of a car. When you have a car, if you have an old truck, it's all beat up, you may not care about it that much anymore. So you'll put the cheapest fuel in there, and you're going to end up probably with more repairs on the engine filter, the engine line, the engine pump, the fuel pump, fuel line, fuel filters, carburetor. Okay. If you have fuel injection, you got that, fuel lines, gas tank, you got all that. You put bad fuel in, it's going to affect all of that, and you're going to break down sooner. Matter of fact, sludge will build up. But now, if you were to change what you put in there into the fuel tank and went with the premium, even though people may say, why are you putting premium in a 75 Chevy pickup truck? Well, because it might just make it run longer. It's going to be cleaner fuel. It's going to save your fuel pump, your fuel filter, your fuel carburetor, your fuel line, your tank. It's going to save that. The sludge is not going to build up as much. But we all have sludge coming into our lives. And every time you make a mistake, every time you quote unquote fail, okay, you got to ask yourself, am I going to allow this to cause me to stall out, or am I going to allow this to cause me to boost and to thrust forward? So the difference is the fuel you put into your think tank. Your think tank. If I put bad fuel in my think tank, I will stall out. If I put bad fuel into my think tank, every time I make a mistake, every time I fail, I will stall out and I'll give up on the dream. But if you were to change your thinking, change your mind, change your perspective and say, this is a big dream, this is a goal of mine, I want to achieve it. And if we understand that the bigger the dream, the greater the challenges, the greater the obstacles, the greater the oppositions that are going to happen. You will face, my friends, you can take this to the bank. I will give you the gold, what's what I call it, the golf gold guarantee. I will give you Coach Jay's guarantee right now. If you have a big dream, you're going to get big discouragements, big disappointments. You're going to get the disses. But what if you were to realize that, yes, coach, I know I'm going to get those, and I'm prepared for when that happens. How do you prepare yourself for the big disappointments? Anticipation is one, and awareness is two. Acceptance is another. Make assessments, move forward, then take action. Always take action and step forward. Remember that every small step forward there's going to be something there to try to trip you. Every big step forward, there's going to be somebody or something there to try to trip you up. And when that happens, get up, dust yourself off, and put the right fuel, the good fuel in your think tank. You want to boost and move forward. So I want to share with you about 3 stories of people who have done just that. They made a difference. They made a decision to put good fuel into their failures instead of bad fuel. When bad fuel is the easiest thing is always going to be the negative thing. The easiest thing is always going to be the thing that's not going to serve you nor anybody else at its best. The easiest thing would have been to give up. Wash your hands of it. I'm done. I'm going on to something else. And I have to share with you, in full transparency, I have many projects, many programs, and many services. Some that I've been educated on, that I have been certified on, that I have been resourced with from other programs and other people, with the Maxwell team especially. But I have also created a lot, because one of my top character strengths is creativity. And I have created many programs, many services, many projects. And those of you that know me very well, you know that to be true. But I don't give up on them. I'm not quitting. I continue to build and develop those. Why? Because my vision is to add value to the lives of people that can multiply value, that my influence and my legacy will be that I made a difference. Now, these programs and projects and services that I have, that I've developed and I am continuing to develop, at any time, I could have been discouraged and said, that's it, I quit, I'm done. No, I keep building. I'm like, well, that didn't work out. It's time to refuel with some good fuel. Well, what does that look like? Positivity, reflection. Reflect on your successes. Reflect on your progress. Reflect on the little things that got you to where you are today. Reflect on those. So let me share with you 3 stories real quick. The first one is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah, big television host, multi-million. I think she may be in the billions now, probably. I don't know what her net worth is, but I know it's a whole lot more than what I've got in my pocket. But when she started off in the media arena as a reporter and an anchor for a television show, they told her she wasn't good enough. In fact, they told her she wasn't right for television. What did that mean? You're not right for television. I mean, I've seen some of the folks on television now, and I'm thinking, man, they've got a face for radio. Now, I don't want to mention any names, and I've been in the radio business, and trust me, I've worked with people in the radio business that they definitely had a face for radio. Okay. Some of you may be thinking that right now. You may say, yeah, Jay, you kind of got one of those faces for radio too, right? But They told her she wasn't good enough, that she was not right for television. Now, instead of allowing those cheap shots, somebody else's negativity to fuel her failure into giving up and to stall, she didn't allow that bad fuel. I keep on saying bad gas, bad fuel into her think tank. She did not allow that. What she did is she looked at that and she says, I'm going to use that, and that's going to energize me. I will succeed at this. That's good fuel in her think tank. What they meant to break her was a boost that made her. What they meant to break her was the boost that made her. She took it. She did it. Folks, if you're still watching and you're watching right now, go ahead and pop a comment in the down below and let me know where you're watching from. Hopefully they'll pop up here, and when they do, I will pop them on the screen. So what are you fueling your failures with? Good fuel, bad fuel? You get to choose. The second person I want to point out, the second person that was faced many, many disappointments, many discouragements, several bankruptcies, okay? People believe that this person, this icon, this man who just brought happiness and joy to faces around the world, millions. They told him that he lacked imagination. They told him his artwork would never sell. They told him when he decided he wanted to build a magic kingdom in the swamplands of Florida that he was nuts. He was crazy. He did it. You see, he allowed their naysaying and negativity to become positive fuel in his think tank. He transformed those failures into precise adjustments needed to eventually create the magical kingdom that continues to enchant the world and kids, big and small, daily. Had he fueled his think tank with the negative, with the bad fuel, we would not have the Magic Kingdom. We would not have Epcot Center. We would not have Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast and all the other things that they have going, Star Wars probably even though that was George Lucas, but Disney has got, I believe they've got a lot of the rights for that too. We wouldn't have that. What an incredible tragedy that would have been for us. So, and the third one I want to share with you, and I was inspired by this by a friend who had posted something earlier, and it kind of inspired this talk. And I'm so grateful. You have no idea. I am so grateful that this man threw some great fuel in his think tank. He threw good fuel in his think tank when he failed and he failed and he failed. More than 1,000 times it's recorded, or it's reported, I should say. I don't know if it's actually recorded. More than 1,000 times saying that it wasn't good enough. No, thank you. We don't think so. A gentleman that I can't even remember what he did, but he had his Social Security. He was living on Social Security, his retirement, and it was very measly. It wasn't much at all. But he had one thing. He had a recipe. He had a recipe. And if you know who I'm talking about, go ahead and pop it in the comments down below. He had a recipe. It was a secret recipe known only to him. The founder of KFC, Colonel Harlan Sanders. I thank God for Colonel Sanders. I do like me some KFC. And if he had not used those rejections, those doors slammed in the face, If he would have allowed that to impact him, that would have been throwing bad fuel into his think tank. Instead, he used it as good fuel in his think tank to propel him forward. Okay. Every no was just another gallon of high quality, high octane fuel propelling him to the next restaurant and then to the next restaurant. He kept going to these restaurants. They kept saying, no, we don't think so. We don't want it. We don't think it's a good. Well, no, it's just not going to happen. Well, no. He found a restaurant that said yes. And we found the restaurant said yes. Well, we know how it went. We know the story now, as Paul Harvey would say. And that's the rest of the story. Good day. Go back and YouTube Paul Harvey if you've never heard of him. Used to listen to him when I was a kid. But he did that. You see, he didn't just get back in the car and go back home. He didn't just throw the recipe away and only his family members and friends could enjoy it when they came over and he fried up that chicken. No, he wanted to get it out to the world because he said, this is something the world needs to have. You know what? That brings to mind. I was sharing something with a group of people I'm with on a call a few weeks ago. And I shared something. It was my get up, get out, get at it. Okay. As you see on my hat, this hat was born from that discussion. And I was inspired and encouraged to put this on a hat, put it on a t-shirt. So what I do the next morning after the call, I jumped online and I created an online t-shirt store, which I'm still adding products to, but you can get ball caps like this with this quote and different colors even on there. There's some things for the ladies. There's some things for the guys, and I'm going to continue to build it because it's going to have a lot more. But this came from an idea that they said you should create a store for that. That should be on t-shirts and ball caps. And I did it the next day. Had I just blown it off, had I just said, no, I don't think so, I now have another stream of income based upon something that I live by, a mantra I came up with one day when I think I was at the YMCA and I was working out. And I thought, Jay Goff, Sergeant Goff, get up, get out, get at it. Come on. And I was motivated. I was pumped. That was positive fuel. That was good fuel. I took the good fuel and I created something from it. Sometimes other people will fill our think tank with good fuel. Take that good fuel, throw that gear shift into low, spin those tires, get moving forward, pedal to the metal. Slow down for curves, stop at the stoplights, but when it's green, you go. Okay? So, thank God for Colonel Sanders because I love me some fried KFC. So, what is the bad fuel you've been putting into your think tank? Who have you allowed to fill your think tank with bad fuel? And are you continuing to fill your think tank with that bad fuel that somebody else is no longer squeezing the nozzle, but now it's your hands on the nozzle? What are you fueling your failure with? What are you fueling your failure with? I want you to ask yourself that. And I want you to think about it. When you're discouraged, what are you going to do with that? When people say no, what are you going to do with that? When people say, I don't think so. When people say that you're not good enough for TV, for the television. When people say you lack imagination. When people say, nah, I don't think so. We don't want that recipe in our restaurant. What is it? What is it that people are telling you that's making you say, well, maybe I shouldn't do this? Now, granted, if you're thinking about doing something that is totally outside of your abilities, that is totally negative in some way, that could hurt somebody or yourself, that doesn't serve anyone, you might listen to some of the criticism. You might listen to that, but you got to weigh it. Weigh the criticism. Don't buy it hook, line, and sinker. Okay. But know that if you have a dream, if it's a big dream, get ready for big obstacles. If it's a big dream, get ready for big opposition. If it's a big dream, get ready for big letdowns, disappointments, discouragements, competition, challenges. Expect them. Don't think you're going to come out unscathed. If it's a big dream, you will have these things. I can promise you that. But let me ask you this. Are you willing to fight through it on the other side to that dream? If you are, then I wish you all the luck in the world. I wish blessings upon you. I pray blessings upon you. But if you're not willing and you ask yourself, am I able? And the answer is yes. Then the only other question is, am I willing? And if you're not willing, then ask yourself why. Why am I not willing? And if you are willing, then ask yourself how and start filling in those blanks. And I can promise you, my friends, I can promise you there will be no love lost. There will be no disappointments if you continue to move forward. So you may not reach that big mansion on the hilltop. Maybe you'll reach a nice little house on the plateau. But right now you might be in a shack. You might not get the big office building up on the top skyscraper looking out over Central Park in New York. But if you can get yourself up to an office where you're serving people, you're succeeding in doing what you want to do, then reflect and consider where you came from and what it took to get there. What it took to get there. Kids are graduating high school right now. Kids are graduating college right now. They're going into their next big thing. They have big dreams. If you are in that group, I want to encourage you, do not give up. Surround yourself with the right people that's going to encourage you to succeed, that's going to push you to succeed, that's not going to take your procrastination, your laziness, your doubts. They're not going to take it. They're going to call BS. They're going to push you. They're going to push you to succeed. And I can promise you this, I guarantee you this, you need that. I need it. You need it. We all need it. If you knew my story, where I came from, and you saw me today, you would not believe the story. You would not believe the story. But I have fought hard. I have fought for years. I have fought the naysayers. I have fought the naysayer in my head. I have fought discouragement. And I still fight those. And you will too, every day. But when you keep your eyes on the prize, hold on to the vision and don't let it go. Oprah held on to that vision. Walt Disney held on to that vision. Colonel Sanders held on to that chicken leg and that vision. They held on to that. Look at somebody in your life that you know that is successful and ask, where did they come from? How did they get here? I love what my mentor, John Maxwell, says, somebody one time asked him, says, John, I love what you do. I love what you do. I want to be an international speaker. I want to write books. I want to be a coach. I want to be a mentor. I love how you're making the world a better place. I want to do what you do. And John Maxwell said, well, that's awesome. I'm glad you want to do what I want to do. But let me ask you this. Are you willing to do what I did to get here? I had somebody tell me one time, says, I want to live your life. I said, no, you don't. If you lived my life, you wouldn't be where I am. You'd be someplace else. But if you lived my life, there are things you have to do to get to a certain point, and you're not there yet. And don't live somebody else's life. God didn't design us to live into somebody else's life and expression of us. He designed us to live into the life that he planned for us as individuals. You may admire somebody else's success. Don't envy, but admire it, respect it, but then ask, how do I turn my dream into that level of success? And you can. Nobody, listen, nobody, there is, with maybe very few exceptions, nobody is beyond the ability to succeed in life, in relationships, in business, in pursuing your dreams. No one lacks the ability to do that. What they lack is the willingness. The willingness. What are you feeling to get you to that point? All right, my friends. That's what I got for you. Hey, listen. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much. I know this was kind of long, about 31 minutes so far, around 32 it's going to be. But thank you so much, and share this with others. If this added value to you, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts, and I will respond to you, I promise. And if you're watching this on social media, whether Facebook or LinkedIn, go to the YouTube channel and like it as well. I appreciate it. I'm trying to grow an audience there. And tell me more about what you're pursuing. What is it that you need to start adding good fuel to? What is it that you are pursuing that you need to add good fuel to, but you've been putting bad fuel and building up sludge in your tank? Okay, what is it? All right, my friends. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I am truly grateful that you would take the time to stop and listen and hopefully learn and grow. And until I see you again, don't forget, you got to get up, get out, and get at it. Did I have a banner for that? Oh, I do, right there. There it is on the bottom, right there. Okay, it's going that way. There we go. Okay, so God bless you. Remember, get up, get out, and get at it, because the world needs what you have to offer, my friends. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And let's see if I get this figured out.